My next guest speaking out on this issue in an op-ed in USA Today this week, writing this: "We cannot let our focus on the present distract us from preventing a child care crisis that will keep our students from returning to the classroom and their parents from returning to the workplace." Joining me right now is House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy. Congressman, it's always a pleasure to see you. Thanks very much for joining me this morning.
Thank you, Maria.
So how should this reopening look? You wrote this op-ed in USA Today talking about the issues around children going back to school.
Well, first of all, you want to make sure you do it safely for the children and for the teachers. This is where I want to look to Congress should prioritize. I know Democrats are afraid to go to work, but parents want their children to be able to go back safely. And when you look at child care down, we need to have child care be able to open back up. We need to be able to expand child care into homes and others. And when you do that, you bring more businesses, but they're more minority women-owned businesses that are created. We've got to look at prioritize within Congress if we were able to meet supplying funding for it, making sure you have safety within it, making sure you have transparency of the latest information for COVID. Everywhere in the country won't be able to open at once, but there are hot spots that probably have to stay down, but others that can. You cannot keep a whole generation to fall back without being educated. For those parents who are watching your show, they're more than parents today. They are teachers. They become coaches. They become tutors. Society cannot hold back. We can do this safely that protects the student and the teacher if Congress would act.
Look at California, Florida. Congressman, look at California, Florida, and Texas. You know, they're putting this reopening a bit on pause because they're seeing the worst numbers in terms of deaths than they've seen yet, just yesterday.
Okay, so you named 3 states out of 50. What are the rest? Are you going to keep a whole generation not being educated? Are you going to keep a whole generation away? What about South Dakota, North Dakota? What about Montana? What about Wyoming? What about every place else in the nation that has a generation that's sitting at home? Our parents are not having child care or education moving. You've got to get that open back up, and you can learn that could help the others.
Let me ask you about the 2020 race. President Trump spoke to Fox News' Sean Hannity last night about Joe Biden, saying that the former vice president has shifted more and more to the far left. Listen to this.
Let's face it, he's been taken over by the radical left. He has no clue what they're doing and what they're getting him into. This is worse than Bernie Sanders at his best. I think they brainwashed him. They brainwashed him. He doesn't know where he is. He doesn't know what he's doing. And our country will suffer. Our stock markets will crash. Bad things will happen. They will defund the police. They will abolish the police.
Congressman, what do you think? Initially, Joe Biden said that he wasn't going to dismantle the police, but in fact, he is now saying that money should be redirected away from the police force. He came out with that plan yesterday, $700 billion plan. He called it a jobs plan, but part of it is to redo the economy. He said he wants to do away with, quote unquote, shareholder capitalism. Your reaction?
Well, we've listened to him say yesterday or the day before that he would defund the police. We've watched that he create a unity pact with Bernie Sanders. That wasn't a unity pact. That was surrendering to the socialists. And we watched what Bernie Sanders said about him, that he would be the most progressive. We have known Joe Biden for more than 40 years. We have seen what he's been able to do. He didn't do much with the economy. He didn't have the best economy in this country's history. So why do we think that's going to change now when he has surrendered to the socialists? You got Congresswoman Omar, who wants to dismantle America. You got Joe Biden, who wants to defund the police. And now you have Nancy Pelosi, who's allowing us to destroy statues. Think for one moment. Nancy Pelosi, a very strong Catholic, they tear down St. Sarah statue in her district, an individual who I joined with her and Joe Biden and Pope Francis in praying for in front of, and she says nothing. Now in her hometown that she grew up in Baltimore, they knocked down Christopher Columbus with her Italian heritage, and what does she say? People will do what they do. This is what the leadership would look like under Joe Biden. Surrender to the socialists, surrender to the mob, and that's not going to bring America back. I believe what President Trump says. We're going to rebuild, renew, and restore this country to be stronger than when we were before.
Meanwhile, you've been on a tear in terms of money raising. You are raising record numbers here, announcing a second quarter fundraising haul of $12.5 million, bringing the total to $33.5 million for the year and over $82 million for the 2020 cycle. Tell us about the Republican National Convention here and where this money goes, Congressman. First, talk about your money raised, how you're deploying that, and how important that is for you, hoping to become the next speaker come November.
Well, my main goal is make sure we rebuild this country. And we raise that money to help candidates run. Kind of like Mike Garcia, who just won in California, a first-generation American who went to the Naval Academy, flew jets, but flipped a seat that has not been able to in California from a Democrat to a Republican in more than 22 years. We only need 17 more seats to win the majority. So if you want to make a difference, you take thehouse.com. You can make a big difference in that. Democrats are raising money, but Republicans are raising as well because we've got exciting candidates like Wesley Hunt, Ashley Hinson, and others across this nation. You know, many people are beginning to write about how many women are running as Republicans in Congress, that we will have more than the biggest number we've ever had of women running in Congress, but the majority of our seats that we have the opportunity to beat Democrats in will be women nominees in the Republican Party, and we're excited by that.
Wow. Well, we've got one candidate with us this morning. Madison Thorne is with us from North Carolina. Madison, jump in here.
Well, you know what? I feel like what's going on in our country, these Democrats, they're losing their minds. Just as the minority leader was talking about, Joe Biden has lost control of the left. He's been shackled to these far left Democrats. I think Ilhan Omar was talking about that she wants to tear down any systems of oppression in our country. When she says that, she means capitalism and our republic. She absolutely wants to redefine what our country is, and we've got to fight back against that.
And Madison is right. And I talked to you about Madison before. He is an exciting individual, and this is what the future holds. He will become the youngest member ever elected to Congress. And he won against odds. And you've watched his life. He's a great example of what this country can do. You work hard, you can succeed. And think about this. Here you have Congresswoman Omar, born in another country, living in a refugee camp. And what does America do at its best? It opens its arms and brings her family in. And she's in the first generation. She gets elected to Congress. She wants to dismantle America instead of duplicating America around the world. That's the fundamental difference.
Unbelievable.
You've got to love this country, the opportunity it has given her, and that gives millions of others around the world and inspires people, just like Madison. And Madison's going to be an amazing statesman when he gets here.
Real quick, Congressman, let me ask you about the convention coming up. What are the plans? Are you going to be in Jacksonville? Are now the GOP looking for outdoor spaces like football fields and stadiums? Is that the plan?
Look, I was speaking to our RNC chair, Ronna McDaniel. She's taking everything into consideration. The first and foremost thing we're going to do is make sure we're safe, and we do it in a safe manner. So they are looking at outdoors as well to keep it in a safer manner to make that happen, looking at testing and others. When we move forward, and I will be there, we will do it in a manner that lays out to the American public what the future looks like. And this is an opportunity for all of us to have that and show the future.
Congressman, it's good to see you this morning. Thanks so much. We'll be watching all the developments. Congressman Kevin McCarthy.